नमो अरिहन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो उवज्झायाणं नमो लोय सव्साहुणम्. Today is the 6th day of the holy festival, the Kshullak Shri Parv. This day is celebrated as the day of Sayam by the householders, the Shravakas, the devotees, the laymen. But for sadhus, Uttam Sanyam is lifelong. They don't celebrate it for just one day and get free. Sayam is an attribute. Sayam means restraint, control over the five senses and the mind. Alertness in our day-to-day course. Doing everything very carefully. For the Sanyamis, the monks, they observe non-violence very carefully. They don't let beings with one sense, two senses, three senses, four senses or five senses get hurt through their activities. This is called Sanyam. Pranindriya parihara Sanyama. Prani, a living being, is called Prani. And Indriya, these senses. Everything is under control. This restraint is required everywhere in life. While crossing the road, while speaking, while cooking, while writing, even in sports, in basketball, volleyball, hockey, cricket, outdoor sports and even indoor sports also, powerlifting. If you are not vigilant for even a fraction of a second, accidents are bound to take place. Chess, table tennis, everywhere you need to be careful. in our country here at Bharat, there are many road signs. One of them is Nazar Hati, Durghatna Ghati. While driving, if you just miss your attention, the vehicle may fall in the valley. Almost all accidents are due to carelessness from one side. But here Sanyam is a different attribute for a different aim. Sanyam is also required in martial arts. The master says, the sensei says that the masters say that when you kick 4.3 inches, 4 feet 3 inches or 4.3 inches, you have to kick exactly at that spot. And when he says stop, so you have to stop in between without hitting the target. When the master says stop, you have to stop at that very moment. This is called restraint, and this is very important in every field of life. Pranindriya Parihara Sanyama. In Jain scriptures it is written that when some monk is following his rules, he needs to be very careful. Careful while speaking, careful while walking, careful while eating, careful while lifting something or placing something, careful while excreting. That is called Sanyam. And Sanyam, the definition of Sanyam in the Siddhanta Sutras, the Siddhanta Granthas, scriptures, holy scriptures, the sacred scriptures, the olden time scriptures, Dhawal Grand from the 9th century AD. It is said, what is Sanyam? What is the difference between Sanyam and Vrat? Vrat is a vow, and Sanyam is a higher attribute than Vrat. In Charitrasar also, Acharya Chamundraya states, Anuvrati Mahavratinau Samiti Yuktau Sanyatau Bhavataha. The smaller vows and the higher vows, when they are observed with the samitis, the 5 careful activities, then they are called Sanyam. And without samitis, without careful activities, if you are a vrati, then you can be a vrati, but you cannot be a Sanyami, which means that you are having vows, but you are not having restraint. In the Dhawal Grand, it is written in Prakrit language. In Charitrasar, it is written in Sanskrit. We have just read that Sanskrit sentence. Now you can listen to the Prakrit one. Dhawal Granth, book 14th, 4th Vargana Khand, Shatkhandagam. It is called Shatkhandagam. There are 6 parts. This is the 4th part. Bandhanadikar, the chapter of bondage. This is written. Sanjama Virayinam Ko Bhedu. What is the difference between Sanyam, restraint, and Virayi, vows? The Acharya answers, Sasamidhi Mahavayanu Vayain Sanyamo Samidhihi Vina Mahavayanu Vayain Viradi. When there are samitis with vows, it is called Sanyam. When there are no samitis, but there are vows, it is called Virati. One who is a Virati is called Vrati. Viratir Vratam. Virati means observing the vows, the vratas. So in the stage of householder, how can one follow Sanyam? Sadhus are careful. They are very non-violent. And they, even while sleeping, when they move, they just use this bunch of peacock feathers and then they cleanse that part where they are sleeping, the mat or anything, and then they change their sides. Maybe some insect or something might be walking over there, but through these soft feathers of the peacock. These feathers are molted feathers, not extracted feathers. Extracted feathers, when dipped in water, smell foul. But when these molted feathers are used, there is no foul smell coming from them. They follow non-violence, ahimsa. And they also bless the devotees with this pichika, Ashirvad. This is a symbol of Jain Sadhu. There are 4 symbols. This is the prime one, the symbol of ahimsa. No weapons, no belongings, no possessions. Just a symbol of non-violence. And the kamandalu is for carrying water. The water which is used for cleansing our hands and feet, not for drinking. And there are shastras also, there are scriptures also for studying. And some other equipments are also there for dharma dhyan. It may be a rosary of beads for japya purpose. Sayam Dharma, restraint, is focused on non-violence. So how can a householder observe Sanyam? The answer is, he can avoid many things that are creating attraction and that are related with violence. There are many equipments derived as animal products. The animals are slaughtered mercilessly for human beings, for human benefits. किसी की बदनसीबी ही किसी की खुशनसीबी है. A line we had written in 1992, which means the misfortune of animals is fortune for human beings, because they earn lots of money by slaughtering them and using their body parts for their business. So you will have to avoid all those equipments, all those belongings which are derived from animals. You also need to be careful in your activities. First of all, stop being harsh towards human beings. Then stop being harsh towards animals, birds, and other living beings. They also have feelings. They also have sensitivity. They also have sensations. They also feel pain. One song which has been written by Ravindra Jain and sung by playback singer Mukesh of here, this country, Bharat. कि दुख मेरा हो, दुख तेरा हो, दुख की परिभाषा एक है. Pain is pain, whether it is mine or whether it is somebody else's pain. So when we have such compassionate feelings, we move in the direction of Sanyam. We can become a Sanyami. We follow restraint. And this is not very easy. We have to learn compassion. Compassion just does not fall from the sky. How to learn compassion? Somebody had asked how to train our children in this modern age so that they are compassionate, they understand love, they understand the consistency of relationships. How is this possible in this present current age? And we had thought about two solutions. Number one, the instinct of love can be planted in children. This is the sound of an elephant, a she-elephant. Her name is Gaj Lakshmi. It stays here at the Kuntugiri Kshetra. The bell is also hanging in her throat and it is sounding like this. Very happy, playful animal. It likes one Maharaj Ji, Nishchay Sagar Maharaj Shri, and whenever she meets him, she takes his kamandalu in her trunk and walks in front of him. Then when Maharajji says, then now give my kamandal, she gives it. Animals are also very sensitive beings. Sometimes they have to be controlled, but most of the time they are very loving and very gentle. Elephant is especially very gentle. Even snakes and other living beings are very peace-loving creatures. When you disturb them, they become dangerous. But when there is no provocation, they stay very calm. We have experienced many times in our lives snakes, striped lizards and many animals, because our life is a life of monk, and there are many incidences when such events occur. Sometimes deer comes near and starts licking our body. This is called our vibration and their vibrations. When they match, they forget everything and they come closer. They become friends. You might have seen that many children go near squirrels. The squirrels also come near them. And when you go there, they just try to escape your wrath, we can say. So we have to change ourselves from within. We have to just get interested. The rest work will be done by our interest only. We have to just create our interest in raising our vibration, in raising our vishuddhi, in raising our purity, increasing our purity. So the two solutions were how to implant the instinct of love in your children. Love is of course natural, but it may become selfish and it may become very dangerous. So for unconditional love, you have to train your children like this. Take them near such animals. Feed the animals through their hands. They will start loving them, and the animals will start loving them, your children. And when they will become closer, there will be a bondage. Of course, that bondage should be not very restricted. So you have to take them to many animals and many birds. Because if the quantity of the source or focus is less, then it will be towards them only, not others. You have to take them everywhere. Birds are also very loving creatures. They come and sit on your shoulder. They speak something in your ear. We have experienced all this many times in our lives. They speak something and then they go away. Acharya Mahavir Kirti was giving a discourse once, and it was almost 9 a.m. The time was almost 9 a.m. A sparrow came and sat on his dais, and it just spoke something in its language. And many sadhus understand also the language of animals and birds. We used to mimic some sounds of birds and animals when we were a child. So that bird said something and flew away. The people could not understand what did it say. Some sound, then went away. One of the audience asked Acharya Shri, please, what did that sparrow say? He said, tomorrow, exactly at this time, it will rain. The news spread like lightning, and the next day, the theatre was full. People were looking upwards. Where are the clouds? Not a single cloud in the sky. And Maharaj Ji had said yesterday that today it will rain at the exact time. But when that time arrived, out of nowhere there were clouds and then it started raining. So number one, to implant the instinct of love in a child, you have to make them closer to those animals and birds. It will start loving, and a loving person, his relationships are consistent, not vacant. The next thing was compassion. How to train a child in compassion. So every week end or fortnightly, you can take your children to the hospital, to the surgical ward also, and let them talk to those patients. Let them ask those patients, how are you? How did this happen? Since when you are here? How is your pain? Etc., etc. And when they will come close towards the patient, they will understand the feelings and pains of patients. They will automatically become compassionate. Their nature will be full of kindness. The best advice that can be given to anybody is be kind. And this is a perfect training for kindness. Whenever somebody is in need, they can help. And they will be true friends of anyone, because a friend in need is a friend indeed. Today, the day of Sayam, Uttam Sanyam. The monks follow this for their purification. That is why it is called Uttam. They don't want any name or fame. They just follow it for their own purity. Because when they are pure, they can spread purity. An impure person cannot spread purity in this universe. This universe requires lot of purity, lot of love, lot of kindness, lot of Sayam, lots of non-violence. Sayam is the only solution. When people will start loving each other, when people will be compassionate towards each other, militancy will automatically cease to exist. Because everyone will be kind and compassionate towards others. They will be considering towards others. They will be caring towards others. And this can be done only when children are trained such a way. Jainam Jayatu Shasanam. Om Hreem Uttam Sanyam Dharmangaya Namaha. Om Hreem Uttam Sanyam Dharmangaya Namaha. Om Hreem Uttam Sanyam Dharmangaya Namaha.